That is an R44 with the all-new, more rugged utility interior. What does Robinson mean by more rugged? For context, the Robinson R44 is the world's best-selling civilian helicopter, and it's used in a zillion different ways. Flight schools, sightseeing operations, and private owners are obvious examples, but it's also popular for agriculture work, for herding livestock, and a slew of other missions in muddy, dusty, and harsh environments. How does the R44 Utility interior address those challenging use cases? I bet the president and CEO of Robinson Helicopters has the answers. What is the R44 Utility interior and who is it for?
Sure. So we have a lot of customers out there. I watch videos of them all the time, love this stuff, of people who are out there either helping to relocate endangered animals, protect them in Africa, manage tours on glaciers where everyone's all wet and cold coming back in, or even Hawaii with tourism. A lot of people do doors off flying. The feedback is that the fabric headliners that we've delivered for our whole company's history sometimes don't hold up for those types of environments. So either they rip them out, ugh, gross, or they leave them in and they turn into a gross kind of mess and replace them at some frequency. So the goal is something that is easier to clean, more durable, less maintenance required to keep it in the state that we intended. So these aircraft, they're hardworking missions, ones that do oftentimes dirty work. And so we wanted to have the interior cover cleanability, easy to remove and replace things like the floor mats. So they're a more durable floor mat, all weather type.
Yeah.
And so those things were all included. We also, in the same process, we looked at the seat and the comfort of the seat. So it's a little more comfortable seat layouts, foreshadowing of what we'll have for the rest of the main line over time. For people who are doing this as a working mission all the time, you want to make sure you have a comfortable seat.
So when you see R44 and the word utility behind it, really we're talking about an interior trim package.
That's right.
Can we take a look inside?
Sure, absolutely, let's do that.
Here, Evan, come over on this side. You can peek on through. We'll go over here. Okay, so number one, I'm noticing the seats are a really different vibe here. What did we go with?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is we wanted a cleanable, more durable fabric, not a leather in the main body of the seat. And actually that's taken out of many automotive, high use, very, sort of cargo van type missions where you want something that can hold up and be easily cleanable, doesn't stain, that kind of thing, and hard to damage too. So that's one big area. We still left some of the leather finishes, but areas that are less high traffic, not where your body actually spends a lot of time. And you can see the style is different, so it actually hugs you better. I think ultimately that's going to make for a more comfortable ride across all types of maneuvering. And I see some of these aircraft, man, they maneuver really aggressively in the agriculture and cattle industries. So this can be a really good seat for a cattle pilot, for example. And internal, you can also take a good look at the screwed down floor mats that are intentionally both a better cleanable surface, and they're not, as you might find in like automotive, sometimes those things are bulky and heavy. This was selected for the proper mix of durability, weight, and just cleanability. And so you can kind of see how that takes shape. Some other fine little accents. I mean, this is the first time we've actually had the embossed collective throttle grip. Some really neat little touches there. We also, on the outside of the aircraft, this is the first R44 with the LED and pulse lighting. So that's one of the areas that is an exciting safety enhancement. So those are some of the big things. And when people think utility, a lot of times they think, in our industry, they think cargo hook. You can put the cargo hook on here. There's an STC for the cargo hook on the R44, but we see the 44 being used a tremendous amount in utility missions that are not necessarily lifting, that are oftentimes, people in the back or dogs in the back or relocating of deer and antelope and things, and they're shooting nets out of the side and that kind of stuff. Tons and tons of that work. And you see the headliner as well is a sprayed in headliner that's one of kind of a unique formulation that we came up with that is a big part of reducing the part count and making it easier to keep the surfaces clean. And that's similar in the back. The back side is not as foamy or as fabricy as the previous kind of layout. So you see it feels different and ultimately is an easier material to manage.
Feels more resilient.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so many of our customers that fly tourism have that complaint that if they want it to look good over lots and lots of hours, it takes quite a bit of work to make sure that the fabrics all stay clean. This helps make that a much easier process for everybody,
Can I
sit
in it?
Yeah, absolutely, sit. Yep.
Okay,
yep.
And then while I'm sitting down, I just want to take a quick note of, there are a few different aesthetic updates in here too. I mean, obviously, collectively, there's a different look in here, but also these green seat belts, that's a really fun little touch.
That's right. I mean, part of that's for the show, and so if folks want it in green, I've got green ones for sure, but the opportunities for this to be color selected is a little bit more flexible than what you see in this kind of show vehicle. But yeah, overall, you can kind of get a sense of how the seats feel versus your 44, for example.
Totally.
And different hug your body kind of feel. And we're gradually, as we telegraphed with the NXG last year for the R66, we're putting more emphasis on deliberately selecting the materials for interiors, for sticks and controls, all the features that are the touch features of the aircraft, and just more of that.
One question. So
Sure.
let's say I'm flying single pilot and I have the pedals out.
Yes.
And I'm in a muddy environment. I
Yep.
want to make sure nothing
Yep.
gets in there.
Yes.
What am I doing to keep those areas safe?
Yeah, so there's still covers that they're available for covering those spots. It is something that we expect versions of this that you might swap out if you're going to always be single operable. But this case, this particular one is configured for dual. But that's a great example of something that we want customer feedback at the show. If they see a specific use case where they always operate a certain way, or they situationally remove the controls, some folks do that mid-mission or every other day, then you maybe want some flexible covers and patches for those. So all that's open for feedback and discussion.
And I bet the number one question people are asking is like, well, Alex, cool, how much does it cost?
It's not a significant difference in cost. In fact, I think it's just a selectable on our list. But we want customers to have choices so that they can tailor the aircraft configuration to their missions without any significant cost hit. Ultimately, we want these types of options on all of our products. And the 44, because of its long heritage, number of aircraft in service, almost 8,000 delivered at this point, we know that this market's one that has all types of customers. Give them as many options as possible.
And when is this available?
So this is available at the show. So we'll sell this aircraft at the show.
Oh.
And then beyond that, customers can start taking delivery later this year. We have orders out through maybe third quarter, fourth quarter, I guess, already mostly taken up. But there's room for folks to upgrade to this, to switch their orders to that, or to take on an order at the end of the backlog. So yeah.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about the khaki paint on the exterior.
Yeah. So this is, I think, part of the color offerings for the year, and this one's got a unique set of trim that may be a special show option, but with a metallic green. But now one of the things that folks may not be aware of is we're offering custom paint schemes. If folks really would like a custom paint scheme, they should reach out through their dealer and let them know. And we are doing that for an added cost. That had always been something that Robinson was reluctant to do, and so we didn't do much of that at all. But we've added that as a feature because more customers are telling us, hey, I take your aircraft and I take it and I go and repaint it somewhere else. We don't want that. We want them to have a clean, low friction delivery and experience buying a helicopter. So if they really want some special color, we've done a lot. There's some limits maybe, but we haven't found any yet. So we're saying yes to a lot of folks on custom paint schemes at this point.
You might find your limit when somebody stupid like me comes in with a really outrageous paint scheme, but so far so good.
I've seen a lot of good ones, so yeah, it's crazy out there.
And then I'm sure people who are existing operators are like, oh, that's a pretty cool interior. Is that the kind of thing I can order as an aftermarket kit, or is this solely for new build moving forward?
So it's things like the headliner are difficult to do after delivery, but the seats and cushions likely could be sold aftermarket, and that's something we haven't. If we get that feedback from the market, it's certainly a kit that we offer today for people to buy seats and seat covers to replace their existing ones. So yeah, let's hear that from customers if they're interested in it. I think we can do it. Our goal with things like our factory overhaul program and our trade-in program is that customers can take advantage of this as a new aircraft. And if they have an existing one, they want to trade it in, then they can do that without any significant over complexity. Keep it low friction.
If I was speccing a new R44, I'd probably choose the utility option, if only for its sweet aesthetics. But for operators who do legitimately dirty work, the R44 Utility is the answer you've been waiting for.